Good morning, everyone. I am super excited today to be telling the story of Annette and her weight loss journey on Ideal Protein and just basically, her whole story of how she has transformed herself and is still continuing to work on getting healthy and make changes in her life that create a brand new lifestyle for herself. So if you are on the broadcast live, would you do me a favor and tell us where you're from? Make comments in the comments section. If you have questions that you would like to ask Annette, we will address those as we go along the way. And we will be just telling her story. If you would like to find more transformation stories, all you have to do is type in the comments section yes, and we will send you a link to where we keep all of our transformation stories, because we know that they're inspirational, and it helps us all when we can hear what other people do, how they manage, and how the things that they eat, the way that they traverse different situations. And Annette has an extremely inspiring story. So send us your likes, your love, and of course, say yes if you want to hear from more transformation stories, and let us know where you're from. All right. So Annette, it's your turn. Tell us, how kind of some background on, how you gained some weight, and then we'll start in talking about your story.
Hi, good morning, Renee. How I gained weight. Well, I had four babies and my metabolism never quite kicked back to where I would have liked to have been after my fourth one. However, I was able to be quite active, so I could sort of keep my weight at bay. I was usually a pretty healthy eater with lots of vegetables and protein, although I did, eat some carbs at that time. But what happened over the years is I developed knee issues, initially unrelated to the weight. There is a history of knee replacements in my family, and my mobility wasn't what it used to be. And so I would go in the pool for my exercise, do deep water aquasize, and nothing hurt when I was in there. And so that is sort of what I did to maintain my activity levels when my knee was, not the greatest. I had a few arthroscopic surgeries that helped for a while, and then had a car accident, and things just kind of went downhill from there. At one point in time, I was told I had metabolic syndrome, didn't really know what that was, didn't know what to do about it, and was quite discouraged. So over the years of, I guess, the last 15, 20 years, I tried so many different things to lose weight. Was successful at losing some, never got to where I even am now, and was quite discouraged by the amount of pain that I had. I couldn't hike, I couldn't snowshoe. My husband and I like to fish and hunt and be very active in the outdoors, and it was really, really difficult. Um, anyways, but I always had a pool to go into for the most part. And then last year, we moved to a small community that had no pool. Well, we do have a big, huge lake, but most of the time it was either too windy or not warm enough to swim in, and currently it's frozen. So, so um, I had a knee replacement in 2015 that was never quite right, and finally got it redone in March of last year. And by that, at my heaviest, I was 335. I was quite heavy. I was quite appalled, actually, at how heavy I had gotten. Doctors said, it would be really helpful if you could lose weight, but it was really difficult to lose weight when you can't move very well. So last year in the spring, while I was waiting to have my first surgery redone, I found out from a lady, actually, no, that was in June. I found out about Ideal Protein. So I got my left knee redone in March, and it was just getting good when my right knee started talking to me, and I had to have it redone. And so I was really discouraged because I thought, oh my gosh, I can't go in the pool, I can't move. What am I going to do for weight loss? And then I found out about Ideal Protein from a lady that I'd gone to in Prince George for some pain management. And she told me that a neighbor of hers who was 400 pounds had lost 200 pounds, and it was the easiest thing he'd ever done. And I thought, well, that really piqued my interest because weight loss up until then had always been a challenge for me, right? So on my way home, I live 2 hours away from Prince George. So I phoned the clinic, spur of the moment, and they had an opening to see me on the way home, went through the presentation. I didn't even tell my husband, I didn't tell anybody, right? I went through the presentation and I thought, well, okay, here goes. I never thought I would ever do a diet where I eat packaged foods. But seriously, I was at a point where my pain level was intolerable. I couldn't straighten my right leg and my back hurt all the time. I do massage for a living, and it was difficult for me to work more than doing one client a day because of my pain levels. So anyways, I brought this big bag home, and I stuck it away and didn't do anything for 10 days because I had some healthy food in the fridge I needed to eat up. And then I just started doing it. And again, I didn't tell my husband anything. I just did it because I was so desperate, right? And then he started to notice that I was losing weight, and he noticed these silver packages. And I said, yeah, I'm trying something. I'm trying something new. I'd heard that this was an easy way to lose weight and people can keep it off and be successful. So I know he didn't say much because he's seen me try and lose weight before. We're in our second marriage. So actually, we got married in 2012, and I lost some weight and got down to 250 pounds for our wedding. But I did something really extreme, eating only 500 calories a day, which is not sustainable, right?
No.
So anyways, here I am, over 100 pounds lost, not quite at goal. I had my other knee replacement in November of last year. I have no pain left in my knees. My back feels a lot better because my leg is straight, and my hip doesn't rotate forward anymore because my knees work well. And I'm living essentially a pain-free life doing things that I haven't been able to do for years.
Well, that's I love the story, and one of the things that Annette, has talked to me about is how she was able to use the support group. She's 2 hours away from her clinic, so she can only get there so often, and clearly she's having to motivate herself, and we all know what that's like. Is sometimes it's depressing, disheartening. How do you keep going? And so she would get online with all of the Facebook groups that she belonged to, and some very special people were instrumental in really helping her. And one of our coaches, Melissa, and Melissa's on here right now. She said hello to everybody and awesome to you. Annette said that she was able to get immediate answers from people and coaches that are online. We all try to, give back. And I know it's one thing I do. And Melissa she's a pharmacist, and she just has so much great information. So it's always so helpful. So tell me, Annette, you started this basically all by yourself. So you got your first package. You couldn't get to your clinic every single week. How was it that you inspired yourself? How did you start making recipes? Tell us what you did.
Well, I went on the Facebook group every morning. There's a couple of them, the IP supporters phase one, and then there's also one of 100 pounds or more weight loss. So I would go on there every morning. I would also listen to my morning video by Dr. Wilkinson. That was how I motivated. I did not know anybody personally myself doing this program. So I just used all that to keep me going. I'm seeing the before and after pictures of people who had lost as much as I needed to lose or more was very, very inspiring. I am also told I'm a very good cook, and so I had to find ways to make the foods that I was eating be appealing to me, right? One of the things that I absolutely love and I always make huge batches of is the chayote cinnamon apple squash. And I will put that in my oatmeal. I'll use it when I have pork the odd time. I will put it in a vanilla shake and make myself a vanilla cinnamon smoothie, which tastes so good it shouldn't be legal to eat, but it is. um, I love spinach, and every time I have a shake, I would put 2 big handfuls of spinach in my shake with ice and water. That's how I got my greens in. Not that I have a problem eating vegetables, but I got a lot of free vegetables in by having spinach just about every day.
Right.
Right. And so when I do my egg omelets, I saute green onion, peppers, zucchini, whatever I happen to have in the fridge. And then I throw in a handful of spinach at the end, put in my egg mixture, and I feel very, very satisfied when I eat that.
That's awesome. So, what did you do as far as like nighttime dinner entrees? Did you recreate dishes that you would normally have made yourself and make them IP friendly?
Yes, really enjoyed making a lot of stir fries using the Walden Farms Oriental stir fry sauce. Um, I use that, lots of ginger and garlic. I go through a lot of garlic, right?
Mhm.
I would cook exactly the same dinners for my husband that I made for myself. I would just for him, cook a carb for him, like a potato or rice or quinoa. Um, I would take, like, for instance, the dill zippers and grind it up in my blender and roll halibut in that and
Oh,
cook it in some olive oil in a pan and then serve it with lemon, and he would just go crazy over it.
that's awesome.
Yeah, we ate really healthy before, so it wasn't a huge transition for me to incorporate a lot of vegetables in my life. We already had an air fryer at that time, and so I just would make a lot of air fried vegetables, the same for me that he would eat, and he loved it. So, I often hear people struggle with, oh, I have to cook 2 meals. Well, no, you don't have to cook 2 meals. You know, I
Exactly.
I think that's really important, and I think it's also really important for people to know that the lifestyle changes that they make for themselves are very good to incorporate into their family. It's not, oh, I'm going to just eat like this until I've lost it all, and then I'm going to go back to the way I ate before. No, we can't do that.
Exactly. And a lot of times I will actually have couples where the husband is being supportive of the wife, so he's eating what she's having for dinner, and he's actually losing weight in the process also. So,
You know what? That might happen, but my husband's in camp during the week all winter, so he gets to eat all kinds of things there that aren't always as healthy as he would have at home. So he does make healthy choices, but he doesn't eat as many vegetables as he would if he was at home. So, but yeah, um, one thing that was a challenge for me initially at the beginning was that my husband and I enjoyed wine with our meal in the evenings. And what I did is I got myself a fancy insulated cup from Starbucks, a really pretty one, and I would make um, my carbonated water in my soda stream, add lemon and lime and a water enhancer, and drink it with, it had a straw, and that was sort of my treat drink that I would drink while I was making dinner or while I was eating dinner. I found ways around it.
that's right. And you know what? I will do that. Like if I'm doing a phase one reboot, I'm very social. I will take my little mangosteen or my tangerine packet. I will get a soda and a couple of limes. I will put, I'll just use like a half of a packet in each soda water. It looks like I'm having whatever, a vodka cranberry. it tastes good. I feel like I'm part of the deal. And I think it's important that, we understand that this is a temporary situation. Are you going to have another glass of wine again? Yes, you are going to have another glass of wine. But the bottom line is are you going to go back to having it every single day? And, are you going to make changes in the balance of your lifestyle?
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, if you're just joining us and you're live on our broadcast, would you tell us where you're from? And if you would like to get more inspirational, transformational videos to watch, just type in yes, and you'll get a link that'll come in your Facebook Messenger and send you out to different, to our YouTube channel, basically, where you're going to get to see all kinds of recipes and inspiration and transformation videos. So, Annette, one of the things that I was really, I loved is that when you had to take off time, so partway through her journey, she had to have another surgery. And in that process, she had to take 2 months off. And because she was healing, she could not be on phase one. And so she did it. She learned that, wow, I can really maintain this. And I think that's one of the biggest questions people have is, how am I going to be able to maintain this? Losing weight's one thing, but will I be able to maintain this? And especially if you've done a bunch of diets where you have gained all your weight back and more. So tell us what you did when you just, you had to get your surgery. How'd you phase out? What kind of things did you make? How'd you find that balance?
Well, I phased off. I did a quick phase off. So I don't know, what was it? Is it 2 or 3 days of every phase? I did that. And I had
Well, yeah, a quick one is that.
quick
Yeah.
one. So I had a lot of fear because I was concerned, was it going to start coming back on? What was I going to eat in the hospital? What was I going to do? Because, yeah, so I had a lot of concerns. And actually, it was a gift to me to have that experience. I brought some of my pre-made shakes to the hospital so I could have those when people brought me like espresso on ice. And I ate the protein that was on my plate when I got it, but I didn't eat the carb. Okay, so that's what I did in the hospital. When I got home, interestingly enough, I sometimes still had my shakes with spinach, but then I might have, a couple of boiled eggs to go with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I still ate low carb as much as I could, and I actually ended up losing another 7 pounds in those 2 months.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so Christmas was coming. We have two birthdays just before Christmas, so I offered to make what the cake that my mom wanted. I made a Black Forest cake, and I sweetened it with stevia, and so I was able to eat it and not feel like I was being totally deprived, right?
Right.
Um, I made my own ketogenic nut-based flour cookies for Christmas. I made some that I enjoyed and actually that a few other people enjoyed as well. So that is what I did, and I look forward again one day to making my own keto desserts. Not that I was a huge dessert eater, but sometimes it's nice to have something sweet. So I know now that I can do it. Um, I feel that I will be successful because I had that 2 month trial. And yeah, so that's what I did. I now know that after talking to, people that have been on maintenance for a while and talking to Melissa that yeah, one day a week I can eat whatever I want and then next day be really strict again so that my body continues to be a fat burning machine and not resorting to storing carbs.
Right. So I call that keto adapted, where when you're in maintenance, you're primarily ketogenic. This is what I tell my clients is 5 days a week, you're going to be eating, similar to phase one, scrambled eggs for breakfast, chicken salad for lunch, salmon and broccoli for dinner. And 2 days a week, you have an indulgence, and I don't mean an indulgence day. This is not called a pig out day. But have one thing that really, it's special to you. And I think, one of the things that I loved, I just interviewed Sarah Mulera, who has lost over 300 pounds. And she was saying, one thing I learned was that if a dessert is not a 10, if I take one
Yeah.
bite and it's not a 10, forget about it. And I love that you learned you went online, you figured out recipes that where you can cut back all those sugars and extra sugars. You can make things that you're going to love. And they might not taste like Oreos and Reese's peanut butter cups, but they're satisfying, and you don't have to feel deprived constantly, or someone else is eating a full carrot cake and you're sitting there watching them.
Yeah. I love carrot cake, but haven't had it for a long time.
Yeah, Melissa says here, she says, IP works so well for keto baking. Great job. So as you transitioned back into phase one, so in January, Annette went back to phase one. How did you have a difficult time? Because I know a lot of people, they go the second time and they have a tough time because they don't do it 100%. How did that work for you?
Oh, I was determined. I just went back right on it again. I had to get the weight off. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? I wanted to be back to my former active lifestyle. I've got two little grandsons I wanted to be able to play with, get on the floor with and play with and feel good. So for me, it was like, it wasn't that difficult to go right back on it again. I was looking forward to it.
That's awesome. So, the thing about going back on is, and this is something that I tell my clients, think about the commitment level you had the first time you did Ideal Protein. You did exactly what your coach said. You did exactly the protocol. If it wasn't on the sheet, it wasn't in your mouth. I have a client who says, just eat the sheet. And so it's a cute saying.
Yeah,
So
I have a saying that I would repeat over and over in my head again, and sometimes I would even say it out loud and my family would laugh. But I would say nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
yeah, that's right. That's
I mean,
right.
another lady on Facebook said her motto was nothing tastes as good as healthy feels, which is another really good one as well, right?
Yeah, because it's not about skinny, and you and I talked about, what's your goal, and goals are, some people goals a number, some people body fat percentage is a number, some people it's just feeling really healthy and good and back into old clothes. And so tell us a little bit about how you determined what your goal and what your end point will be.
Well, I am going by my BMI, right? Initially, I wanted to be 180. I'm tall. I've got a large bone structure. My coach at that time said, "Oh, I think 210 would be good for you because of your bone structure and you're tall." My last weigh-in a couple weeks ago, I was 207. However, my BMI was still 32.
Right.
So I'm going more by BMI than I am by weight because I think that
So
is, yeah.
I personally like to use body fat percentage.
Okay.
And, for ladies, we want to be under 30% body fat. That gets us basically to the top of the healthy range. I personally run around, if I'm feeling skinny, I'm about 24% body fat, but somewhere around 27 to 28% body fat, I think is a really good number, because you want to be a little bit under you don't want to be at the top of being healthy, because you want that window where you have 3 or 4 pounds, you go up and down, and that's just like a weekly thing. I think is, for me, I can go up and down in a week somewhere around 3 pounds. So when you look at your future and what you plan to do to, really continue to stay in this place and get to your goal and then maintain your weight, what do you see for yourself?
I see myself overall eating more of a paleo diet plan, or not diet plan, a paleo lifestyle, right?
Right.
We and that to me is not that difficult, because I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we hunt, and so we usually have wild game in the freezer, which
Oh,
is
nice.
great. Yeah, so and we fish and whatnot. So for me, that's what I foresee doing, and exercising. I love exercising. Like I'm planning on going for a 2 hour snowshoe this afternoon.
That's
Which
awesome.
so I really enjoy being outdoors. So if I'm not snowshoeing, if there's not enough snow, then I'll go hiking in the woods on trails, right? Um,
Right.
so for me, being active and being able to move and not having pain is huge. And
Oh
what I
my
think,
God.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that attracted me too also about this IP diet was that there wasn't a requirement to exercise because I couldn't exercise, right?
Right, exactly. And I go between clients that are, they can't even fathom not exercising, and then I have clients that they just do the protocol and it works so great for them. And for people that, I encourage you, if exercise is, you think you can't live without it, you tone it back to a yoga class, a Pilates class, some walking. Annette already, had exercise in her life as a daily thing, and even though she had, gotten to a place where she wasn't able to do that, her body is tuned into that. So, how do you do extra protein after a 2 hour snowshoe hike?
I usually have I drink BCAA just about every day, the branched chain amino acids. So I do that. Yes, if I know I'm going to be going out, like sometimes I'll add some extra egg white to my oatmeal, or I'll add some extra egg white to my if I'm going to be making an omelet, I'll add extra egg white. I will do that. So yes, or I'll have a boiled egg. So that is what I do to make up for the protein that the protein that my body requires. And I don't go overboard. Like I find if I have a boiled egg and drink a water bottle that's full of BCAA, and we're talking not a small one, we're talking like one of the regular, the full water bottles that you buy at Costco, I'm full. Like I don't find I need anything else. I don't crave
Okay.
carbs. I just crave more protein, so I have more protein.
So on a day that you are going out and you are snowshoeing, you'll drink your BCAA. So those are branched chain amino acids. They help with lean mass retention, so that keeps her from burning muscle. And then you'll have do you have an additional ideal protein packet right afterwards, or do you just kind of go how you feel?
I don't usually have an extra protein packet afterwards, right afterwards. I'll have my BCAA and maybe a boiled egg, maybe a pickle, but sometimes in the evening I might have an extra packet just because I feel
Okay.
like I'm still feeling, I still need something, right? So,
Right.
like people ask me, like I have people that ask me, "Oh, do you cheat on the program?" I said, "Well, I don't know if you can consider it cheating. I will add extra protein because I feel that's what my body needs when I am doing more, when I'm exercising more, right?" So, and
Yeah.
when I am snowshoeing, I'm not pushing myself so that I'm out of breath, right? It's like going on a walk, and I love that.
Yeah, and you're out in the beautiful, beautiful nature and doing something healthy for your mind too, which, our minds are what keep us in this game. And when we allow our minds to start taking over and making us feel deprived, and if all you're thinking about is, oh, I can't do this or I can't have that, it's all heading to the negative place. If what you're thinking about is all the things that you can have and all the things that you can do, and how much better you're feeling, it takes you to the positive, motivated place. So I wanted to say, Melissa posted here, I love that you guys hunt and fish and get all that great wild meat. It's a workout in itself too, and we often have deer sausage and fish too. She's up there in out Medicine Hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's see, we have Carrie here, and Carrie says structure helps. Tracy Gardner is a great regional director for Ideal Protein. She says, great job. You got this, living the keto lifestyle, and the 2 months proves how amazing you are. And Melissa says, IP products work so well for the keto baking. So those are, some great inspiration. And Tracy says, yes, mindset is half of the battle. And you know what? Honestly, I think it's 90% of the battle. Melissa says, like Dr. Tran says, your heart and your mind need to be in alignment. And clearly, Annette, you decided that you wanted to transform your life. You wanted to get back to the things that you love to do. And even though you were probably not feeling so great when you knew you had to be, rehabilitating your knee, and then the second knee, it had to kind of hit you hard. And how did you turn your mind around and just get on that positive level?
I was just determined, I come from immigrant parents from Germany, so I guess I would say that I'm a determined German. That's nicer than stubborn. I just decided that I was going to do it, and I had enough of feeling like I was 80 years old, like standing in the kitchen and cooking was difficult without sitting down and taking breaks. Like, that's not how I wanted to live, right?
Yes.
But it was interesting before in late November, my grandson, who lives in Alberta, saw me, and he's just a little 6-year-old guy. He saw me for the first time since the summer, where I'd already started to lose weight, but it was not that evident. He says, Omi, he says, you've lost a lot of weight. He says, and you look younger.
Oh.
And this is coming from a little 6-year-old. And so to me, that was really inspiring. And I was so looking forward to be able to walk him to school when I go to visit him next time, which is coming up pretty soon, without being in agony. So
Yeah.
my grandsons were I guess a motivator, but also just to be able to keep up with my husband. My husband is active as well in the outdoors. He's 2 years younger than me, so I've got to be able to keep up with him. And it's been many years that I couldn't keep up with him, So if you can't walk very far, you're very limited in hunting. You're very limited in being able to explore the woods, being able to explore lakes and beachcomb. And so I guess for me, I just really wanted my life back.
I love that. I do. I have a couple that is in their early 60s, and she's really trying to make that change also, where she's got some immune system problems and needs to lose some weight, and she has this amazing husband who's active, and he's riding his bicycle. He's planning his trip to in the summer to do the death ride, and they both come in and see me, and he's so supportive of her and loves her so much. He just wants her to be healthy and to be right alongside his side everywhere. And I think that in itself is having a good support system is really key to all of this. So we'll just close out. Want to highlight a couple things that people have said. Tracy says, love that. Now I'm going to use that as I am also a determined German. And Tracy's lost a lot of weight also and maintains it. Josephine Leonard says, that's amazing, Annette. What a nice NSV, non-scale victories. And sometimes I think we all get tied to, oh, the number, the size of my pants, or whatever it is for us. And those non-scale victories are what keep us motivated along the way. And whether that is, I don't have to sit on my chair and breathe hard in between cooking, as Annette said. And, I can go out with my husband and hunt now, and I can snowshoe for 2 hours. I mean, those are great NSVs. What do you say your top, non-scale victory is?
Well, being able to snowshoe is one of them, but also going into a store and picking something off the dress that isn't in Pennington's in a plus size store. I actually
Yeah.
picked a really cute black dress that I didn't have time to try on. It was a size large. Brought it to my friend's place where I was spending a few nights in Prince George, tried it on, and it was too big. So I was really surprised. My upper body, I am a size medium now, and my largest was a 3X. So that was huge for me to be able to shop in a normal size store and have the opportunity to shop in many clothing stores. I have lots to choose from now. I'm not just stuck to a plus size store. So that's huge for me. Huge.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I love that. Anything else?
um I guess just how I feel. I feel healthy. I feel excited about life. I don't feel depressed about, oh, the summer's coming and I'm not going to be able to, do the things that I want to do. I feel excited about looking forward to outdoor activities and knowing that I can do them and keep up with them. That for me is huge.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, summer is coming. It's about 15 weeks away, and we all have the opportunity to get part of the way to where we're going, or all the way to where we're going. But I think the overlying thing that we need to remember is this: there's no start and stop point. We are changing lifestyles, and that's a new maybe motto or tagline for Ideal Protein is, this is not a diet. This is a
Yeah.
complete lifestyle restructure. And making these changes on a permanent basis is what keeps the weight off. If we're doing this just to get to a goal, get to a party, get to a class reunion, whatever it is, and then go back to how we ate before, we will slowly gain all of that weight back. And so, on our ending note, give us some words of encouragement for you. You got a lot of encouragement on your Facebook groups. Tell us your words of encouragement for all those people that are really, just starting or in the middle of things and maybe feeling unmotivated.
You're worth it. Like, read motivational books. If you need counseling, because you don't feel good enough about yourself, go get some counseling. Like, truly, weight loss or a lifestyle change begins in attitude and in our head. And if we don't feel good about ourselves, that is a huge, and I don't mean feel good about ourselves because of our weight, but just overall. There's a lot
Yes.
of programming that we bring with us from our childhood, me included, that can affect how we look at ourselves. When I was 175 pounds when I was a teenager and I was my full height that I am now, I thought I was fat, you know? So I didn't appreciate what I had then, and now I do. So I think people, it's not a bad thing to admit that you need some help to work on your self-esteem, to feel good enough about yourself to do this, or get some help while you're doing this if you're feeling you're having a hard time sticking to it. It's not a bad thing to have to get some help.
Yeah, I agree with that. Annette is 5'10". She's a very tall lady, And so, yeah, putting a number on things and Annette, I've been 200 pounds 3 times in my life. And when I was a kid, it was in fashion to have skinny legs and a skinny bottom. And, it just was. And I thank J Lo for bringing curves back in, because my background is Portuguese and Spanish, and I'm curvy, and I always had a butt, and I have some thick thighs. So
Exactly. I'm the same way. I've got sturdy legs and I will always have sturdy legs, right? So
yeah,
it's not, I'm glad that, like you said, J Lo and the Kardashians are bringing back that you can be attractive and have some curves. It's not about being a fashion model that's emaciated. That's not what healthy is.
exactly.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so I would just tell people go for it. Um, I've had people say, "Oh, I can't afford it." Well, how much money are you spending every month or every week on alcohol, going out for dinners? Those special coffees add up when you start looking at all of that and the foods that you can't eat when you're on this program. You find out that actually it's not that much more expensive, or it's about the same, or it's even cheaper if you
I don't know anybody that spends more on Ideal Protein than they did before. A glass of wine at a nice restaurant is at least $15. That's a whole day of Ideal Protein. So,
Exactly. So, and I had people say, "Well, I go out for dinner a lot." Well, you can still go out for dinner.
you
You just
can.
you just have the protein. You have an allowed salad. Bring your own dressing. If you forget, you can ask for, olive oil and apple cider vinegar on the side. Like there are ways to do everything. You just have to plan. One of
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I did a lot of, because of my clinic is 2 hours away and I would have to travel. I'd be on the road, you know, um, every month or something like that, and I'd have a lot of running around to do because in Prince George are a lot of the amenities that we don't have here. And so, one of the tips I'd like to give people is if you don't have time to stop and eat, take along a bag of chips that we're allowed to and have your vegetables all prepared, cut up in a little cooler bag with ice in it, and have all your liquids, your drinks along with you. And I would just go about my day munching on vegetables, munching on the chips, having my drink. And I never got to a point where I was like, I had low blood sugar and I was feeling headachy because I had forgotten to take something with me. So people can be prepared even if they're on the road.
Yes, yeah, and it's all about planning. So and it's not just when you're in phase one, it's for the rest of your life. You have to be prepared for your week. You need to know, what you're going to eat, whether you're in maintenance, you're still making a weekly meal plan, you are still, making good choices, you're going to the grocery store or having things in the freezer, or once a week or every other week you do a whole bunch of dinners that you throw in the freezer. You've got them all prepared. So preparation is everything, and even in
Absolutely.
maintenance. So, well, Annette, thank you so much for being on our program. And thank you to everybody who has stopped in and given their comments. If you would like more inspiration, all you have to do is type yes, and we'll send you a link to more transformational videos, recipes, and inspiration. And I just want to say thank you so much, Annette. Your story is beautiful, and we will keep following you all along your path. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you very much, Renee. Thank you for having me. And I apologize for the blinds, sun coming through the blinds. I
Oh
can't.
gosh. Yeah, well, we don't have broadcast studios at our house, so
No, we don't. I don't have all this backlighting and whatnot. So that's just the way it is to be able to make this happen. So
Absolutely. You look beautiful, and let's stay in touch. All right, you guys, let's say goodbye to everybody and talk to you soon. Have a super, super weekend. And